Hi, Josh. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just great, Alicia. Thank you so much for inviting me. I've been looking forward to it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And you see, Josh, I am quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking, because I believe in order for one to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see, Josh, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. And that's why I discovered that you also read books, and I love that. I can see some amazing books behind the shelf there. I love that. And now, the second reason why I'm excited to have Josh on the show is for the sake of the listeners. Josh, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand, and we've got a lot of informations out there. So these folks trust me for quality information. And that's why when I was browsing through your profile, I was so excited because I know we are definitely going to benefit from your insights, your knowledge, and I'm excited about that. So let's get started with your introduction, Josh. Talk to us about your personal and professional journey, how you got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Josh, over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Alicia, and thank you for that warm introduction. It's my pleasure to be here for your incredible audience. And I think I've got a very interesting journey. So I'm a person that has had a long and successful career. I'm a professional salesperson and I sell software and technology solutions. But over the course of my career, I've dealt with a few key challenges. So the first is physical injury. I badly injured my back as a younger man in my 20s, and that caused significant pain, lack of mobility issues, etc., and led to different addiction issues that I've dealt with, namely drugs and alcohol. And I was still able to have a successful career over the last 25 years, but I paid a price, due to these issues. But in my mid to late 40s, I began to solve the issues. Better late than never, I suppose. And I'm to a point now where I've overcome all of my addictions issues. I've corrected my physical issues, and I got into incredible shape at age 50 and realized that although I've got a successful career in sales, what I really want to do is help other people benefit from the challenges that I've experienced in my life and in my career. And so I am now a coach and I assist people with everything from getting their lives and careers on track to finding their purpose. And I still sell as well. So I guess I have two jobs, but that's my story in a nutshell.
Beautiful. You see, you mentioned one of my favorite words, which is purpose. You know, I believe everyone is on this planet for a particular purpose, and you also make use of help and assist. Those words are very important, I tell you, because there are some things that only you can do, that no one else can do it the way you can. And I believe that is how it is for every one of us. We've got those unique abilities that we need to make use of in order to help other people. So listening to someone who is functioning in that aspect of helping others solve a particular problem, I find it really interesting and I love it. And that's really inspiring. And sorry about the injury. How long has it been? Mentioned since when?
Yeah. So I'll tell you the story quickly. So I was pulling a suitcase out of a car at age 23 and I herniated two discs in my lower back. And within about an hour of the injury, I couldn't move physically. And they had to come and put me on a stretcher and bring me to hospital. And it was years, decades, in fact, of dealing with the repercussions of that injury. And so for periods in my younger life, I had to walk with a cane. I couldn't sit. For many years, I couldn't sleep in a bed, so I had to sleep on the floor on a very hard surface. So it was, and I had to stop with all of my favorite, exercise and sports and things like that. So it was very upsetting. But I finally met a person who I think was on his purpose, a physical healer, a physiotherapist, that I think he must be one of the best in the world, because within about 2 months of working with him, he had got me on path to fixing this issue finally. And I was age 49. So if you do the math on that, it's about 26 years. And this man within 2 months got me on a healing journey, Alicia. And now I'm at the point where I'm in great physical condition and I suffer from no chronic pain. So I feel very fortunate.
Amazing. Oh man, I love that. I love that. And I found that
Don't give up.
inspiring.
That's what I
Yeah,
say to people.
exactly, exactly. Some people might say because of the injury, I don't think I can be of any use to anybody or even to the world. I'm just here with myself. And folks like that, if they get to listen to your story, it would inspire them to wake up and not give up and never relent. I love that. I love to listen to stuff like this. I find them really inspiring. Amazing. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just comment on something that you said as well, just about purpose. And here's the thing, whatever you're going through, whether it's a physical issue, whether it's something else, or loss of a loved one, or some pain in your life, what I want people to know is your primary purpose is to deal with the challenges you have in your life and create the best version of yourself, because that is the corner of the universe that you've been given dominion over. It's nothing else. It's just your life, your thoughts, and your actions. So the primary purpose I believe we all have is to focus on building the best version of ourselves, regardless of the challenges we have in our lives. And then once we've done that effectively, our secondary purpose becomes, it becomes obvious to us. And generally speaking, if you've done the first thing properly, the secondary purpose is going to be something where you're helping others, you're helping the world, the environment, something life affirming, but it starts with you. So I want to mention that to people. If you're struggling, if you're dealing with an injury, that's your challenge to grow, to get stronger.
To get stronger. I got that. That's really insightful. I got that. Okay, so let's get started with the first question. All right. There are some folks who are being limited by their mindset, belief, and even habit. Now, folks like this, they get to listen to you speak, and let's say they now ask question like, "Hey, Josh, how do I improve my mindset, habit, and belief?" What would your response be?
Thank you. I like that question. So this is a challenge for all people, is how do we improve our mindset and how do we introduce positive habits and remove negative habits? And so the first thing to learn is that this is a part of that purpose that I was mentioning to you. So understand that this is one of the most important things that you can work on. It's not something to do on the side or between the other things in your life, like your job. It's actually one of the most important things that you can do in your life, is to improve the quality of your mindset and your habits. The way that we do this is by introducing a morning process that allows you to focus on your own mental, spiritual, and physical health at the very first thing you do every single day. And depending on how bad your habits are, we can start very slowly by introducing 1 or 2 positive habits that you will stick to for a period of time until they become entrenched. If you're a little bit more advanced, we can introduce more positive habits. But the goal over a short period of time is to introduce positive habits in the morning and then remove the negative habits that often creep into our lives later in the day as we begin to lose our willpower. Alicia, this process will not only turn your life around, but it will turn your attitude and your mindset around as well.
Amazing. I believe that because you are living proof. I tell you. So I believe that. So let us talk about the
Yes,
two
sir.
most important areas people should work on for success. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, I believe, the two most important areas are personal development and sales skills. And let me explain what I mean by that. Personal development is aligned with the first purpose that we have, right? So we focus on, for example, my morning process. I wake up early, and that is as an offering to God, as an offering to the universe that I'm going to sacrifice from the very first decision of the day. And I am going to prioritize my purpose, which is to work on myself first thing in the day. And so I have quiet time with God in the morning. I stretch, I train, I go to the gym, and I stick to a certain diet, and I avoid negative vices, alcohol, drugs, etc. I don't do those things. So that falls under the umbrella of personal development. That's number one for people. Sales skills. Now, I'm a 24-year sales professional, and people often think that selling means making money or, selling people things that they don't need. Sales actually means helping people solve their problems. So you need to learn how to diagnose people's problems, understand if you can help them, and then convince them that they need to invest to solve their problems. That's what sales is. And so these are valuable life skills for anyone to learn, even if you're not going to be in sales. If you want to learn how to help people, you need to learn how to listen to their problems, understand them, understand if you can help, and then convince them to take certain steps to help themselves. And so I believe these are the two most important areas people can focus on, and I teach both in my coaching practice.
I got that. I got that. Okay, let us talk about for someone who wants to get into sales and he or she needs some tips or insight. What can you say to such person?
Yes, that's a great question. And I think the first thing I'll mention is for most people, they don't last in sales. So the number of people that get into sales usually churn out of the industry within 2 to 3 years for a few key reasons. Number one is they don't know how to deal with the rejection. So the first thing that I would say to someone looking to get into this profession is to expect rejection and to learn how to persevere anyways and develop a calloused mind and spirit towards rejection. And this is a good life skill as well. Things are not always going to go your way. So you have to learn how to accept rejection and failure. That's number one. Number two is commit to learning from the rejection and the failure that you're experiencing. So, in essence, Alicia, experience it twice when it happens. And then I want people to think about it later and draw lessons from it, because failure is our greatest teacher. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced this in your life. When things go your way, it's very easy to assume that you understand what you're doing, and so just continue to do what you're doing. But when things don't go your way, it really cuts us deep. And those are the moments to reflect and learn, what is the universe teaching me about what I'm doing? What do I need to change in order to be more successful? And so that would be my number one tip for new people getting into sales. And number three, I'll give you an extra bonus, is work hard. Do not allow yourself to be distracted. Put your phone over to the side. When it's time to work, I want you to focus on making your calls, doing your activity, sending your emails, knocking on doors, whatever the case may be. Go through the process, fail, and learn.
Amazing. Go through the process, fail, and learn. I got that. Okay.
And then adapt.
So,
Adapt, of course.
and adapt. Okay. Exactly. If we approach rejection, we view it as something that we need to experience in order to learn or realize some certain things. I think we would warmly embrace it. When I realized that challenges or trials, actually, these things are not my enemies. When I realized that stuff, that they actually for my betterment. They've got some stuffs to teach me that I need to learn from them. How I viewed every terrible situations changed. So I got your point, Josh. That was a great one. I love that. Okay, so we
Yeah.
have two more to go. All right. What is the
Okay.
secret for learning a new skill and becoming a high performer? Can you talk to us about that?
I can. And it's going to be a similar answer to the one that I just gave, which is you you must learn it at first. So the process that I advise for people in sales to follow is this: learn, try, fail, reflect, adapt, repeat. So it's a 6-step process where you learn something to the best of your ability, but then you've got to try it in the field. So you learn how to pitch, you learn how to whatever it is that you're learning, but at some point you must try. Now, sometimes you're going to be successful, but of course we know if you're a beginner, there are going to be moments where it doesn't work out for you. So accept that. Don't shy away from it. And this is the biggest problem people have and why they don't learn new things, right? They're uncomfortable with the idea of failing. And so they avoid it. So if you can just accept that you're going to fail and then go through the reflection, adaptation process and try again, you'll get good very quickly. So for people learning a new skill, and guess what? We are all beginners when we start in sales. I remember my first sales job, Alicia, very well. And my senior colleagues, let's put it this way, they laughed at me after a couple of weeks because I was mispronouncing certain words and it was rather embarrassing. But of course, I learned very quickly.
I think I can relate to that. I got that. Okay, so we have one more to go. So, for
Okay.
someone who says, "Hey, Josh, you see, I'm not a happy person. How can I become a happy person? I can't even remember the last time I get to laugh." What would you say to such person?
Oh, these are great questions, I have to say. So this question,
Thank you.
and the first thing I'm going to say is that we know that real clinical depression is a thing. And so if someone is truly suffering from depression, I want them to talk to a medical professional. I want them to do that. But for most people, there are things that you can do to increase your level of happiness over time. And number one is to develop self-trust. The way that you do this is following through on the promises you make to yourself. And people chronically fail at this. They say it's Monday. I'm not going to eat poorly this week, or I'm not going to drink alcohol this week, or they make promises and then they break those promises. That causes them to lose trust in themselves and feel shame and regret. It's very hard to feel happy when you have shame and regret at yourself. So the first thing we need to do is start being intentional with the promises we make to ourselves and following through on those. If we do this enough, we're going to raise our self-trust and our self-belief, and we will get to the point of actually loving ourselves because we know that we're dependable, that we're honest, that we follow through on what we say. And by doing that, we will begin to get the results that we want in the world that will affirm us even more. And so this is the pathway to become happier over time. The other element that I'll mention, Alicia, is that in order to build a great life, unfortunately, we have to do difficult things that we don't always want to do. There's not a pathway to building a great life through pleasure seeking. It's through difficulty, labor, and sacrifice. And when investing in those things, a funny thing begins to happen. Over time, the baseline of our mood begins to increase because we willfully choose to do difficult things. And so the baseline just feels more and more pleasurable. Whereas if you pursue pleasure, the baseline comes down. And so this is the pathway for people: is find a cause that is worthy, invest in it, follow through on your promises to yourself, work hard at it, sacrifice your pleasure for it, and you will become happier.
Amazing. I got that. So, to bring this to an end, Josh, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you're doing, you know, you've said so many amazing stuffs today, and it resonated, and they would love to learn more. How can that be possible?
I love that. And so what I will invite your audience to do is, and this is my final thought, okay? You can read books, you can consume information. As you said at the beginning, Alicia, we don't actually have a lack of information. There's plenty of information out there for anything, right? Whether you want to change your diet or get in shape or be successful, you can find 1,000 articles. The issue we have in society today is application of that information. And so for your audience, I would say what you want is to find someone. You want your mentors, your coaches to be people that are living the program that they preach. And so I would invite your audience to please follow me on Instagram, because you will see me living my program, which is early morning wake up, quiet reflection in the morning, workout every day, eating a proper balanced diet, and avoiding vices. And this will hopefully inspire people to make changes in their own life. And of course, this is a way that you can also get in touch with me if you're interested in coaching, or if you just have a question. Just follow me on Instagram. And so that is Instagram.com/Josh Flower and then the number 1. So Josh Flower 1, and people can find me there.
Amazing. I got that, and I'm definitely going to do that. I'll give you a follow on Instagram. Okay, so
Amazing.
that's going to be the end of the show, Josh. Thank you for coming, and thank you for educating us. It's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much, man.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.